Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Compliance Corner with John Hanson. My name is Cole Finley, and today is November 19th. We're almost to Thanksgiving. Wow. And I'm here with my wonderful friend, John Hanson. John, how are you doing today?
Great, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. So we have a really interesting topic today, and it's all about problem solvers, givers versus takers. So I imagine that this comes across your desk quite often, right, John?
Yes, and it's happened a lot lately, so I wanted to address it here on this Compliance Corner, and that is that most of the time when a problem is brought my way or comes my way because a client brings it to me or the agent brings it to me, oftentimes there's just a gross misunderstanding. We have two different ways of being in each party trying to work something out. And so in life, I've found that there are givers and there are takers. And it doesn't mean good and bad. It simply means that this is how they've learned to win at life.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are people who have just learned to take. They just learned that you don't give anybody an inch and you crush them, and that's how you come out ahead. And so I had a lawyer, a senior lawyer in Olympia, a senior partner at a law firm Olympia, once take me aside as I was waiting to meet with my lawyer and ask me about the contract issue I came to discuss. And he told me, he said, and he was an elderly guy now, and he said, in all the years I've worked with contract law, I found this one truth to always be present, and that is that more important than the terms of the contract are who the parties are who are entering into the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, he said, are they givers or are they takers? Because takers are not going to relent and they're going to crush you at all costs. And so I was thinking about that this week and thinking that in this discussion of givers versus takers, we have to be savvy enough as real estate agents to be aware of when we're about to go into a listing with a taker, and are we equipped to deal with that taker? Again, I'm not saying bad person, good person. I'm just saying someone who has learned to get by and survive in life by not being understanding, simply crushing the opponent, being the taker all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so early on, when we meet somebody, I've always looked for signs of a taker so I can make that decision. Do I want to work with this person or not?
Mm-hmm.
And so the things I have looked for, little dialogues, for example, and maybe this is wrong of me, and I want to ask you, Cole, to give your opinion too, but I look, whenever I would hear somebody say, what's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
That was an indicator that that they were oftentimes a taker, right? Not
Sure.
always, but oftentimes.
Sure, sure.
And if the commission was something that came up and they were talking about the commission being too much, or sometimes it would be even with a smile and say, yeah, you're going to make a lot of money off of this deal from me, and they would say with a smile or a wink or whatever. And
Right.
that always sent a chill down my spine, because I would think, okay, they're about to go after that commission.
Sure.
And so those are things that I would look for, in determining who is a taker, who is a giver. Have you thought about that
Yeah,
yourself, Cole?
absolutely. And here's the thing. Sometimes, and I like how you're saying there's no good or bad in it, right? Because sometimes people are takers out of a desperate place, right? And I think it's funny because I was working with a group this morning. We were having a conversation about the emotional side of our clients, right? And how they come from a point, let's say it's a seller and they're desperate for the money that they need. And so they could really be coming from a taker position just because of that desperation. It could certainly also be just part of their personality. It could be a cultural thing. It could be all sorts of things that take them to a taker position. So our job as an agent is also to discover what's the motivation behind the taker position, right?
Yeah. Along with that, I'm gonna put myself out on a limb here and say, also there are Nordstrom shoppers versus Walmart shoppers.
Sure.
Okay, and so the Walmart mentality is, I want to save money. I mean,
Right.
that's it. They're not in looking for a quality product. They're not in looking for a greeter to smile at them and say welcome. They're looking for savings, and they're
Yep.
going in there to look for savings. And in Nordstrom, there's a whole different mindset. When you go to Nordstrom, you know you're going to pay more probably than you pay anywhere else. You know what the guarantees are. You know what the quality is. You know what the experience is. You're going to hear the grand piano playing. You're going to smell perfume and leather as you walk through. You're going to have uh, customer service people coming to help you at all turns,
Oh,
versus Walmart.
right.
Okay, if
Right.
you've experienced that, which I have, if sometimes, sometimes I'm in the mode where I know exactly what I want to get. I don't need anybody's help. I know where to go, and it's all about price. And I zing in and I zing out, right?
Right.
And then in Nordstrom's, there are times when I go to Nordstrom's and I am looking for a deal in Nordstrom's even.
Right.
I've decided I want to just shop and look for a deal, and every once in a while I can uncover a really good deal at Nordstrom's too.
Right.
But I know the quality that I'm going to get. So the same thing I think applies
Sure.
with givers and takers. The same thing applies in a transaction. Of course people want to get a fair deal. Of course people want to not feel like the commission they're paying is going to fund your life for the next 6 months. They want to know that it's reasonable. They want to know that there's value.
Sure.
So what I wanted to say is, takers oftentimes don't care about value. So
Sure.
you can talk value till you're blue in the face. You could talk about Nordstrom stuff till you're blue in the face. Won't matter.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for the price. They want to go get that price.
Right.
So what questions could you ask, or what things can you listen for coming from that prospective client in advance to try to avert what will ultimately be a disaster?
Exactly. And what is the most important thing to you? And they say, I just need the very bottom line. Okay. So for you to walk away from the deal is the most with the most amount of money, right? Okay. And if you're on the market for longer than that, what's the point at which you're willing to make a compromise on that if the house doesn't sell, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of, it's all about the questions. I can't go into any negotiation, which is really what happens when I'm first meeting with my client, and they tell me it and I go, okay, got it, without understanding their motivation, because I can't negotiate really well on their behalf unless I understand that. And if all they are in is saying, nope, this is my conscience, this is how it works, I have to have the best price, don't care about anything else, then I know at least that's what I'm going in at. And then I am always going to have that conversation with them though about, okay, what's the next step if this doesn't work out? What's our plan B? Right? Because I think there's a missing piece there a lot of times when we're talking with takers. And so we have listings that sit on the market forever because we haven't had that conversation. We have offers that don't get accepted when we're representing the buyer because we don't have that conversation also with our buyers about, okay, what's your plan B if this doesn't work out? Right? And if there's no plan B, and I don't think this client's being realistic, and all they are is a taker, and I don't believe that I can help them, maybe this is where I don't waste a lot of my time and energy on a client that may not be able to get to the closing table as a listing or as a buyer.
And if they do, they're going to try to do a commissionectomy on you right there at the closing table. And so life will be very difficult with them. So asking the right questions, I'm in total agreement.
Yep.
Asking the right questions is so critical. What if we get to this point in the transaction? What do you think we should do at that point? And just kind of get a feel for them. And if they say, well, I think we should cut your commission by 1%. Well, you know what you're dealing with.
Exactly. It always leaves clues, right? The answers to questions always lead you to the next best logical negotiating point. That's for sure. Love it. So great topic today on takers versus givers. Love that. You know what? It's really interesting comes down to, John, and I think Sometimes our agent's skill set on negotiations, because it's not only negotiating with the agent on the other side or helping that agent negotiate with our own clients, but we're negotiating with our own clients all the time. And it always starts with the needs analysis first, and then building that relationship and building that expectation with that client before we go into it. So helping takers maybe move a little bit more towards that giver side, or certainly more towards a collaborative effort when it comes to getting to the closing table. Awesome. Well, John, thank you so much again for another wonderful compliance corner. This next week, John's coming back to our team meetings. I'm so excited to have you back at our team meetings again, John. That'll be fantastic. And we won't be doing a compliance corner on Thursday because it'll be Thanksgiving, but we'll catch up another compliance corner next week. John, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week and a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
Okay. See everybody later.
Bye-bye.